showing you that there's something to that. Okay, so we're gonna go into. You want to put a PowerPoint real quick? Thank you, brother. So we're gonna go to the next PowerPoint real quick, which myself and Deacon Amar from Philadelphia, we were talking, and then we've been building and things of that nature. And he had a presentation that he wanted to show. Then we began to talk. I said, "Well, brother, I need to see that. Let me look at the presentation." And it's dealing with music and dealing with different, what you would call different, the culture of music and how does Satan use music to deceive the world. That has been, even to some degree, has infiltrated even the church. So we're gonna get into that historically. Okay, so, and this is no offense to anybody that within the like music and things. This is not about that. We're gonna go into that. Music can be used for righteousness and things of that nature, but we're gonna go into the history on how the Satan used music to seduce the world. Okay, so I know he did a fancy thing. Like I said, I want to give special thanks to Deacon Amar who put this together. We actually simultaneously doing this lesson in both churches today. Okay, so we're gonna quote real quick this is a quote from Jimi Hendrix. Reveal the conspiracy, subliminal music 40 years ago. Who knows Jimi Hendrix? He is the pioneer of rock and roll. He actually was an Israelite, but many of the heavy metal, rock and roll, rock bands give homage to Jimi Hendrix. Okay, so Deacon, if you could just read that for me real quick.
Says, this is Jimi Hendrix. Atmospheres are going to come through music, because music is in a spiritual thing of its own. You hypnotize people to where they go right back to their natural state, which is pure positive. And when you get people at that weakest point, you can preach into the subconscious what we want to say.
So this is Jimi Hendrix, which is he was connected to the occult, and many of these rock bands are dealing with this type of understanding. So he was saying that at this time is going to come that music is a spiritual thing in its own. Okay, so when you get people to certain trance, certain move, you can control their move, right? And we do this all the time when you guys want to do exercise, right? What do we put? Exercise music on to rev you up. You don't put love songs, right? When you want to make love, what you do? Put love songs, right? When you want to have a party, what you do? Party songs, right? And then as a DJ, if you're a good DJ, you could do what? Control the crowd. Move the crowd, right? Okay, so we're going to show you. Okay, so you read that real quick, Deacon.
So the question, this is the interviewer asking Jimi Hendrix, who is meant by we in your above quote? Jimi Hendrix answers, people want to release any kind of way nowadays. The idea is to release in the proper form. Then they'll feel like going into another world or a clearer world. The music flows from the air. That's why I connect with the spirit. And when they come down off this natural high, they see clearer, feel different things.
Okay. So this conversation was held almost 40 years ago. Okay. And we had a plethora of different quotes like this. We just narrowed down to the one that's more clear or more direct to the point. Okay, but many of the rock artists, from Michael Jackson, you name it, they always say, I meditate and go into a room and I get connected in the spirits and things of that nature. So we have to be very careful, because what do the Gospels and the Christians, the Holy Spirit is taking over me, and well, we got to make sure this, and we know it's spirit. We have to make sure which spirit are we talking about, right? Let's read.
Many times things pass by us as something regular or harmless. This is a tool Satan uses to dumb down the masses, but those that are spiritually aware can discern what is going on. Jimi Hendrix knew 20 years ago that music was a way to affect the mind and spirit.
And that was a typo. This is 40 years.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
that music was a way to affect the mind and spirit on a subconscious level. But what was he talking about when he mentioned the music flowed from the air and that he connects with the spirit? Was that just coincidence, or was he describing a demonic possession? Let's take a look.
Okay. So let's go to Ephesians 2, verse 2 and 3.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 2. Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
Keep reading.
Verse 3. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lusts of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others.
And a lot of people don't understand when these quotes are made, by nature the children of wrath. When we go into other records, we're going to go into the book of Adam and Eve to show you the origin of this thing, because there's nothing new in the sun. Okay, there's nothing new. You know, we got nightclubs now. They have nightclubs back then. We're going to show you that. Okay, but it didn't came from the Most High. All right, read that real quick, brother.
So the book of Ephesians talks about a time past where we walked in disobedience according to the course of this world. Let us look and see whether music played a role in our rebellion against the Most High, and what adverse effects can music cause without proper perspective.
Okay. So we're gonna be at the book of Adam and Eve, chapter 19. Okay, we're gonna go into a quick brief history. We're gonna run a lot because it's a lot of read, so we're gonna just jump through it. Okay, so you can start at verse 8, Deacon.
This is the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 19, verse 8. And Jared continued to teach his children 80 years. But after that, they began to transgress the commandments he had given them, and to do many things without his counsel. They began to go down from the holy mountain one after another, and to mix with the children of Cain in foul fellowships.
And foul fellowship. So there's righteous fellowship and there's foul fellowship. We're going to go into what's the foul fellowship. Read.
Now the reason for which the children of Jared went down the holy mountain is this, that we will now reveal unto you.
Okay. Keep reading.
Jared, a righteous man from the seed of Seth, counseled his children in the fear of the Most High. He instructed them not to have foul fellowship with the children of Cain. They depended on Jared so much, his children asked for his blessing hour after hour. So being, they were so close, what could have caused his children to disobey his counsel?
Okay. So this is a quick genealogy. Okay, who are the sons of Seth? You go to Genesis chapter 5 all the way to 16. It gives you the genealogy straight from Adam all the way to Seth. Okay, so you could just go there on your own. Okay, and get that information. All right, keep reading.
So we can see the scripture details the lineage of Adam down to Jared. Notice how it did not include Cain and Abel, due to the fact that Cain had slew Abel. As a result, Cain was cursed and the seal was set upon him. So the Most High blessed Adam with the righteous seed to replace Abel, in whom the Most High was pleased. From Seth, a righteous seed would spring forth in the earth to do the will of the Father. We also, such as Enoch, we understand that through this seed will come some of our most influential patriarchs, such as Enoch, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, in whom the earth was repopulated. Note, there are two Lamechs, one of Cain's side, who was responsible for his death. See Genesis chapter 4, verse 18-19, and one a few generations later on Seth's side. See Genesis chapter 5, verse 25 and 26.
Okay, so there's two Lamech. So sometimes you may see those two names and may confuse. There was the righteous Lamech and there was a wicked Lamech. All right. Okay.
Now that we have established an understanding of the sons of Seth, let's look at the sons of Cain, so we can further understand the account written in the second book of Adam and Eve.
Okay. All right. So this is the descendants of Cain. You can go to Genesis chapter 4 all the way down to 22, and it gives you the name of Tubal Cain was Nemad. This is This is the same guy in the Adam and Eve. Okay, so this is, you could go on your own, go to Genesis 4:16 to 22. Okay. Matter of fact, let's read 22, the last verse, Deacon.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah.
Okay, Naamah. Tubal-Cain, right. Salakim, yeah, the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Okay, and let's keep reading. Let's go to, yeah, read on top.
As we know, in the Israelite culture, it was normal for us to name someone based on their characteristic or purpose. For example, Moses, Yeshaya, etc. That does not mean the name used to describe a person was the name they are used in their culture. In the second book of Adam and Eve, there was a man named Ganun from the line of Cain. Ganun, son of Lamech, the blind who slew Cain, shares the same characteristics as the son of Lamech named Jubal in Genesis chapter 4.
Right.
Jubal, from the Strong's H3106, coming from H2986, means stream, Jubal, and antediluvian, Jubal. When you look at H2986, you get the word Jubal, which means to bring forth. In conclusion, it is easily understood that the one who brought forth the father of musical instruments, Jubal or Ganun, are one and the same. Note there are two Enochs, one on Cain's side and one on Seth's, also not to be confused with one another.
Okay, so the word Yabal means to bring forth. So usually that means to bring forth. He brought up something. There's something he gave to the world, right? So let's read in the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20. We're going to start on top, and then we're going to read verse 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7.
Come, this is verse 1. Ravishing music, strong drink, loosed among the sons of Cain. They don colorful clothing. The children of Seth look on with longing eyes. They revolt from wise counsel. They descend the mountain into the valley of iniquity. They cannot ascend the mountain again. After Cain had gone down to the land of dark soil, and his children had multiplied therein, there was one of him whose name was Ganun, son of Lamech, the blind who slew Cain. But as to this Ganun, Satan came into him in his childhood, and he made sundry trumpets and horns, and string instruments, cymbals and psalteries, and lyres and harps and flutes, and he played on them at all times and at every hour.
So a demon came, one of the deceivers came to Ganun and began to teach him instruments. And that's he began to learn instruments, right? Read.
Verse 3. And when he played on them, Satan came into them, so that from among them were heard beautiful and sweet sounds that ravished the heart.
Oh, you hear that sound? Wow. Oh my God. Beautiful, right? Let's read.
Then he gathered companies upon companies to play on them.
He gathered companies upon companies. Hey, brother, if you could put your mic right in front, because it's a little muffled, the water.
Then he gathered companies upon companies to play on them.
Companies upon companies. That sounds like a concert, right? Read.
And when they played, it pleased well the children of Cain, who inflamed themselves with sin among themselves.
Now imagine the first concert ever. People were like, you hear this? We're going, right? The first music that you never heard music before. And it's being played beautiful. They probably went ecstatic, right? Come on.
And burnt as with fire, while Satan inflamed their hearts one with another and increased lust among them.
So they started jamming and dancing, right? Hanging out. Oh, this is hot, right? Come on.
Satan also taught Ganun to bring strong drink out of corn.
Uh-oh. Mix up a little liquor here. The first nightclub, right? Come on.
And this Ganun used to bring together companies upon companies in drink houses.
Drink what?
Drink houses.
Drink houses.
Bars.
Bars. There's nothing new under the sun. right? Come on.
And brought into their hands all manner of fruits and flowers.
Okay, let me get a Long Island iced tea, and let me get a. Come on, brothers, you know these drinks. Sisters, come on, throw something. Come on, right?
And
What a sour, what?
Spanish fly.
What you got?
Spanish fly.
Yeah, Spanish fly. You guys like you don't know these drinks. Come on. Read.
And they drink together. Thus did this Ganun multiply sin exceedingly.
Come on.
He also acted with pride and taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of the grossest wickedness.
Come on.
Which they knew not.
And what do you think goes on every weekend in a nightclub? You meet somebody new. It's exciting, music. That's what goes on every weekend. That's what's going on. All kinds of fornication. Read.
And put them up to manifold doings, which they knew not before.
Come on.
Then Satan, when he saw that they yielded to Ganun and hearkened to him in everything he told them, rejoiced greatly, increased Ganun's understanding until he took iron and with it made weapons of war.
Come on. That was it, Annette?
Come.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Come on.
So through the allure of ravishing music, strong drink, and flashy clothes, the children of Seth were drawn away from righteousness by their own love for the world.
Okay, so let's look at the pattern here. You see that? So Ganun was the first rock star. He was the first club owner. He was, he was the first music promoter. So you can imagine this guy was a god on earth. People worship him, right? And he became a what? A star, right? And what do people now put? And that's why it's very important to go back into what Deacon Shamar was talking about, that at around 2 or 3 and things of that nature. And I think the reason why we looked at the evidence is that why Isaac had stopped at 2, because Sarah was of age. So maybe she stopped, be able to produce some milk. But it's usually during the time around 2 or 3 is when the women stop producing anyway, correct? Automatically? Is it, or now I can keep going? What's usually? And it goes up to 9. So as a child would tell you when it's time. It's usually right, because usually around 2 or 3, that's when the child begins to walk. He's able to eat more solid foods. So that is when you start training him. No, Papa, no, don't do that. Teaching him the law, teaching her the law, right? So what do we usually put in? And that's right, you got to go back because this is all connected. Most kids, right? When you go to most kids, what do you see in their playground, in their room? Posters of who? Teen bands, and things of that nature. So you are training your kids to worship these stars. And it is innocent because they start with Disney, right? And what they do is many of these young actors are really older, but they start playing younger roles. So you think they'll play a role at 9, but they're really 15. So by the time they get into 20, you think they're still in that teenager situation, but they become Myra Cyrus and things of that nature. But by that time, your child is hooked. You understand? Because since 3 years old, you've been having what? Myra Cyrus posters in your room. So we have to be very careful. So what should be in your kid's room from that time, from the weaning, where they know right away, they could understand, it should be the 10 Commandments. There should be pictures of scriptures and different things that happen in the Bible. But that could be in their psyche and things that nature. And it's been tested and it's been proven already that after a certain time, in regards of your children's age, in regards to certain habits, it's already too late. In regards like 10 years old, if they're seen violent in their house or they're seen cursing in their house, they can never wean away from that. Even as early as 10 years old. So, and everybody says, the curious true, because that's the age when they become more independent. They're able to walk. They don't want mommy's breast milk anymore, right? They want, food. They get curious. So that's the time you have to start. Even what you put in your room is very important and things of that nature. Because then when they're 15, they'll be begging you, Mom, Dad, can I go to concert, this concert, that concert? Because that star, they've been trained to worship that star from age 2. And you think it's innocent and things of that nature, right? So let's just read this real quick.
Picking up in the middle of the passage. This is a problem which still exists among those who would even call themselves Hebrew Israelites. With the growing popularity of polygamy and weed consumption within the Hebrew community, many are led astray by false teachers who by music and popularity use the teachings of the church to promote their own ideologies and doctrines. They always come as angels of light only to have their own agenda.
Right. So there's many people within the Israelite community that will use the loophole of polygamy, or some of our forefathers there with that, due to circumstances their wife could not produce a child, because that's usually the pattern. It was not something that was done, and it was not the will of the father. To use that as an excuse to have multiple girlfriends, right, and just call them wives. They don't know of each other. You understand? But you got different pieces in Brooklyn, one in the Bronx. Oh, these are my wives. No, you're being a homemonger and smoking weed, right? And things of that nature, and using that scripture, well, every herb was given to man for, And what it is, I see a lot of Hebrew Israelites, they got 1 feet in the street and 1 feet in the truth. And they're like this. They want to be, they want to be outside and they want to be inside. They're lukewarm. Either you're in or you're out. Let's read it.
That's it.
Okay. Let's read Titus 1 and 10.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not.
Yeah, whose mouth must be stopped. And now it's easier for those mouths to blabber. Why? Because he got YouTube. Everybody could put a channel. Shalom, this is brother so-and-so. I just want something to say. Right? And it becomes a thing that is about them becoming a celebrity, a YouTube celebrity, than to actually do the work. And they will do is they'll link up with different camps, and they'll do music collaboration, or they'll come up with different ideas. We should do a concert, but it's really about them being a star, YouTube star, and things of that nature, right? Let's read.
For filthy lucre's sake.
For what?
For filthy lucre's sake.
Right? So they got their own agenda. Just go to Matthews.
Chapter 13, verse 24.
Okay. Just go back to what it originally was. Do a quick mic check? Because
it I don't know, it sounds different now, but.
Yeah, Shamar is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was fine before.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
Come on.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Like I said, and this is no disrespect for anybody that likes music or, hip hop and things. I love that stuff. After the 90s, it went downhill for me, but that's another story. But, you got to, be careful that Satan is not using filthy lucres, your desire, because filthy lucres does not have to be money. It could be something that you desire. It could be fame. It could be notoriety and things of that nature. And a lot within the hip hop community, what is big? You being the best rapper. You got battles and things of that nature. So you have to be very careful that you don't get caught up with that spirit. And I'm seeing that a lot of the young brothers are getting caught up with the spirit and things of that nature. Yes, hold your thoughts, sister. Then we'll get questions and answers. Keep reading. Where were we?
Verse 26.
Okay.
But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
Okay. And you're going to also hear a lot about, brother, I'm about just bringing Israel together. But that's not what Christ was talking about. He said, go to the elect. It's to gather the elect to the elect. Christ is going to bring Israel together, and only a remnant will be saved. So our job is not to bring Israel together. Our job is to bring the elect Now, and I was having this conversation with a brother early this week, in regards that, they'll question, well, why do we win this Hebrew alliance and things of that nature? Now, yes, it will be great for us to have some form of dialect, not be so hostile towards one another. But we all know the GOCC, the reason why we even got involved with this is to show the world there's other kinds of Hebrews, to promote the church, right? That's the main purpose why we were out there. Now, if the trigger effect or the aftermath is that we are able to build some friendship, and I have built good friendship with different Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters from other camps, that's a great thing. But our main thing is to put ourselves in positions to preach the gospel, right? To preach the word, wherever we go, even within the Hebrew community. Just because you're in the Hebrew community doesn't mean you are following the gospels. During the time of Christ, he was in the Hebrew community. Everybody know they were Hebrews, what lineage they were from and all that. But not all of them were dealing with the gospel. So we have to understand, separate the two. Okay? All right. Right, now all Israel is of Israel. Exactly. Okay? So we have to just understand, to try to teach with love and just be in a position that, because it's funny, because in the beginning, we were the odd men out and things of that nature. So, but because we dealt with the Spirit of Christ, and we, you simply were nice people, now you have brothers and sisters that are having a conversation with us, and they are saying, brother, I know you don't go on the name of Ahia, but they were even like, I was dealing with another brother from another camp, and out of respect of the love that we had with one another, he said, brother, may Ahia bless you. And he calls on another name. You understand? So now that name is being proclaimed. You understand? Now, it doesn't mean they're all going to accept. They may not accept in things of that nature, but it's our job to preach the gospel and things of that nature. But if we get a friend in the process, that's good too. I'm not saying if they don't accept the truth as we see it, we're gonna just ignore them, and we're gonna still build things on it. Matter of fact, brother the mighty Hebrew, his cousin, two of his cousins are members of the church in Philly and things of that nature. I think he's visiting us over there now and things of that nature in peace. So it's always good to have that report, to have the opportunity to do what? Teach the gospel, right? So let's read this real quick.
So not only are there baptized deceivers that are of the circumcision, but according to the reference in Matthew, we would not physically be able to tell the difference between a true brother and a tare based on appearance alone.
Right. So, and this is not to offend anyone. They may have a situation, they may have the idea, Israel going to come together and things of that nature. That may be your calling and things of that nature. But I just wanted to, because I know we're coming on live on YouTube. It is not to offend anybody, but just for understanding that the ultimate goal, the number one goal, is to preach the gospel. That's the number one thing, right? And then there may be certain brothers that may get caught up with the whole, we must all Israel come together and things of that nature, for just regardless of doctrine and things of that nature. But ultimately, we understand that Christ, the doctrine of Christ, is the one that we're looking for, right? Now there may be things we may network. Like for instance, I was dealing with a brother. He's a Hebrew Israelite, and he's looking for us to have a sovereign thing situation, and to also have that we would have our own passport, like our own sovereign passport. We could travel. That's something we could talk about, because we may use that. May it work? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, what's the first thing? Preach the gospel. If we could get some extra blessings out of this unity thing or networking, okay, that we could use as a church and we could network. So we have to kind of prioritize, I think, right? So next slide.
We got finished.
Okay, second.
We didn't finish reading.
We got more? Okay, let's go back. Okay.
It says, let's look at the Greek word that was used for seed. G4690, sperma. Something sown, that is seed, including the male sperm, by implication offspring, specifically a remnant, figuratively as if kept over for planting, issue seed.
Right. So when Christ says, go make disciples of everyone, right, he was talking about bring forth our offspring, create different clones of me. You became me. Now you want you to create other people like you. That's why Paul says, be a follower of me as I am a follower of Christ. Okay, so that's another symbolic dealing with planting a seed. Okay, all right, let's end that. Let's go to the next slide.
Many people are fooled because someone looks the part from a distance. Through social media like Facebook and Instagram, individuals are able to forego the order of the church by not submitting to an elder. Instead, they self-anoint themselves as leaders and prey on whomever would follow them.
Right. So I just want to do the work with the Most High, brother. I'm not with any camp. I'm about Israel, and you get a lot of that. And it's easier today because when I was coming up, if you was not in a building, you would not hear this information. So you have to physically go into a building, sit down, and hear this word. But now you got people in China could be watching this presentation. You understand? So it's easier now to just become your own man and just, network within the internet and things of that nature. Okay? And we have to watch out for that and things of that nature, right? All right, let's go to Matthew 7:17.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them.
And the reason why we are very serious about this is because I don't want to, get into details, but I got a phone call from a sister that she lost her kids because she married a brother who she met online, and they got married. She had, I think, 3 kids. She moved to where he was at. Eventually, he was supposed to have gotten a job, or he was going to school to get a job, or he had a job guarantee thing. That didn't fall through. She was then supporting the home, the bills. She came home one day and she saw the man beating her child, a 4-year-old kid, with a extension cord. Okay. Then when she told him to stop, he turned on her, beat her up. Okay. He's a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. And then the cops were called, right? He got arrested, and then child protection agent got involved. She lost her 3 kids. And this is all within the Hebrew Israelite community. Okay. And this is the sister. This sister was that she was with the church, but she separated herself for some, a few years back. And then she, now I'm working with her and things, and try to get her kids back and things of that nature. But I would have told this sister, I actually know that brother. If you would have been with them body, we could have told you, yeah, this brother's doing this and he's doing that. He was telling when she got there, he found out he had 4 other wives, okay, smoking weed, okay, but she didn't know that. So you understand why we need a network of elders to check and to have within, you have to have good rapport, right? Know them that labor among you. But the internet has been used by Satan to override that. Because now you can't go into a building. You don't have to go to a building anymore. You can see GOCC online. And it is profound because a few years back, Deacon Balash, Xavier, he was saying, you know what? A non-member can receive the same information by GOCC as a member can. Anybody could take the academy. Anybody could see our lessons. The only thing now that, we have different is certain things like the elders meetings and things of that nature. But in regards to doctrine, they could receive that information. And sometimes members are not feeling that they are getting something separate and apart from the populace. That we are actually throwing our pearls among swine. Jews in the internet. So he brought a good point. I was like, you know what? That's a good point. And things of that nature. But it is a difficult situation. So the only way to combat against that, we have to create a conduct or a way to filter individuals. So we have regional elders. We got 5 elders in the United States. Okay, I'm one of the regional elders of northeast region of the United States. Elder Lawyer is the elder of the East South region. Elder Romar is the Central, and Elder Yarak is the West region, right? So if you should get under those elders, right? If you're collaborating with a brother or sister is dealing with a business or an idea, the first conversation is who's your original elder? I don't know. I think is well, you got to first get in contact with the regional elder and things of that nature. So we have to create a system of network to combat against the internet, because this is how these people coming in. Now, a lot of them are innocent, and I'm not blaming anyone, but we have to understand that we are a body, so we have to have everything in order and in decency, and understand that Satan always want to try to come in like he tried to come in back in the days in Adam and Eve time with the sons of Cain. Here's some music. You know, wow, beautiful music. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing music, because music could be used for righteous and wicked. Matter of fact, let's go to show you. This is not within the presentation. Go into those two scriptures I gave you, Deacon. You got it? Yeah. Let's go to 1 Samuel 18. The Most High likes music. That's not the music is not evil or wicked. It's how you use it. It's the knowledge of good and evil is the problem. It was given to us, and now we could manipulate anything for our good. So if we're gonna if Satan and the deceivers use manipulation, vision, and use music to stern your children a certain way, we should use those same tools, right? You know, maybe people don't, remember there's a young people, but remember back in the 40s, most of the Christian religion or churches were against television, having television in their house or even radio. And because they were saying it's the tool of Satan. Eventually they realized we should use radio and television to combat the tool of Satan. You understand? But back in the days, they were thought that was defile and things of that nature. So we have to understand that Satan is using these tools to lead us astray. So we got to use the tools to combat fire with fire. So I'm just going to give you an example real quick how music could change people's mood into righteousness or wickedness. Let's read it real quick.
This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18 verse 6. And it came to pass, as they came when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing.
They were singing and dancing, praising, right? They had no ill will, right? Read.
To meet King Saul with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music. And the women answered one another as they played and said, Saul have slain his thousands, and David his 10,000.
So within the lyrics of the song, they say Saul has slain thousands and David has slain 10,000. It was part of a song they put together. Read.
And Saul was very wroth. And the saying displeased him, and he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands.
And I go to show you the lyrics could also manipulate your mind. What the main thing that there's battle rap, not battle rap, there's beef. Back in the days with Puffy and Biggie. Words. Right? It was just using words. Oh, what he said about me? And that's why I had to walk away from this whole Sinetta thing, because it became a joke. It became Gabar is this, Gabar, what's up is that. GOCC is that. Then our feeling will get hurt. We have to address the issue. Well, I just want to address, and it becomes a soap opera. Nah, I'm not gonna get into that. You could take somewhere else. Just preach the word, right? So we have to use words. It's like, you know what? It's time to walk away from this madness, right? Keep reading. Matter of fact, go to the next verse. Give them the chapter and verse.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 6 through 8.
Okay.
And then we're going to jump to 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 23.
And to show that music could also change your mood for righteousness, to calm your mood. Let's read this real quick.
This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 23. And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from the Most High was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him.
You see that? So music could be used for that, for righteousness. You pissed off of something, right? You put in hip-hop music, you pissed off in your room, right? And then the next song comes in, it's a happy song, you start changing your moves, like, all right, you know. Music does manipulate you, your move. And David understood that because he was a master of that as well. So he saw that, so let me play for King Saul to calm him down because he's pissed, he wants to kill me. Keep reading.
That's it on that.
That's in that? Okay. So I just want to just touch on that music could be used to manipulate moves. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, just read that real quick, Deacon.
Many of us would say, well, I can separate the man from the music. Question is, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at another record to answer this question.
Okay. Can we separate the man from the music? We, in the book of Adam and Eve, the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20, verse, we could start at the 11th verse.
Verse 11.
Matter of fact, we could start at 10th verse. I like that one. Let's start at 10th verse.
Verse 10. Then sin increased among them greatly, until a man married his own sister or daughter or mother and others, or the daughter of his father's sister, so that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they no longer knew what is iniquity.
So remember when you got in the book of Jubilee, it has what you consider two accounts of how Cain died. One, the Jubilee, it says, and the house fell upon him, right? And then the other version, he died with, I think Tubal Cain killed him by mistake. The word house fell upon him is talking about his family, meaning his house collapsed because everybody was just having relations with each other. You don't know who was the baby daddy. It was just became chaotic. The whole family structure of a house, because usually house is dealing with family, the house of David, the house of, and so forth. So it is dealing with his house. When you book in Jubilee, that breakdown is that the house fell upon him, not dealing with a physical house, but the actual house collapsed in things of that nature. Okay, so it's not contradictory. But let's keep reading. But that's just, you could go here to break that down. Read that again.
This is verse 10. Then sin increased among them greatly, until a man married his own sister or daughter.
Start on top. Start a verse. I would, start because a lot of good stuff up top.
All right. Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20, verse 8. Then when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man used violence against another to teach him evil, taking his children and defiling them before him.
Mm-hmm. See that? So all that went down. Because remember, this was the first time they even felt this way. This is a new phenomena, so they probably went insane.
Pre-flood.
Yeah, this is pre-flood, right? Read.
And when men saw they were overcome and saw others that were not overpowered, those who were beaten came to Ganun, took refuge with him, and he made them his confederates.
So now this will become cliques. This has become different. This is when the war began. The beginning, that's how the family collapsed. The house of Cain collapsed upon him. Read.
Then sin increased among them greatly, until a man married his own sister, or daughter, or mother, and others, or the daughter of his father's sister. And
this tradition, the heathens kept. Nimrod married his mother, Semiramis, right? And then
the Egyptians was doing that.
The Egyptians were doing that to keep it within, the family, so to speak, or just was tradition that the heathens kept. Read.
So that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they no longer knew what is iniquity, but did wickedly, and the earth was defiled with sin, and they angered the Most High, the Judge, who had created them.
Okay, 11.
But Ganun gathered together companies upon companies that played on the horns and on all the other instruments we had already mentioned.
So he was taught by Satan, and he began to teach people. So he had bands and different brothers that had that, or sisters that had that talent. Read.
At the foot of the holy mountain, and they did so in order that the children of Seth, who were on the holy mountain, should hear it.
So they began to play that the sons of Seth heard it. What is that? It's a good jam, right? Curiosity killed the cat, as they say, right? Verse to number 12.
But when the children of Seth heard the noise, they wondered and came by companies and stood on the top of the mountain to look at those below. And they did thus a whole year.
A whole year. That's what they just looking down, right?
Verse 13. When at the end of that year, Ganun saw that they were being won over to him little by little, Satan entered into him and taught him to make dyeing stuffs for garments of diverse patterns, and made him understand how to dye crimson and purple and whatnot. And the sons of Cain, who wrought all this and shone in beauty and gorgeous apparel, gathered together at the foot of the holy mountain in splendor.
So it's not that having colorful clothes is a sin, but to show you that that could be used to sin, for sin. Sisters, have you ever been walking down in Fifth Avenue, you see a dress? Oh my God. Look at pretty colors. Right? Sisters, I remember when I used to be young, my wife wanted to go window shopping. I used to be, Manhattan window shopping. Women love it. They could just, what do you think? Just buy something, right? But that's how Satan used colors. So it's not the color is evil. You get what I'm saying? But Satan used these things, they are lure to us, to lure in. So the question is that we should use these things too for our advantage. That's what we should embrace and look at for garments and start doing cool, what you consider modern style Hebrew Israelite garments. They are appealing. Well, that's nice. Where you bought that? Oh yeah, a sister from my church. Right? And embrace that culture. So fight fire with fire. Right? Keep reading.
With horns and gorgeous dresses and horse races, committing all manner of abominations. Verse 15. Meanwhile, the children of Seth, who were on the holy mountain, prayed and praised the Most High in the place of the host of angels who had fallen. Wherefore the Most High called them angels, because he rejoiced over them greatly. But after this, they no longer kept his commandment, nor held by the promise he had made to their fathers, but they relaxed from their fasting and praying, and from the counsel of Jared their fathers. And they kept on gathering together on the top of the mountain to look upon the children of Cain from morning until evening, and upon what they did, upon their beautiful dresses and ornaments.
So it was like a movie. They was just looking down. It's just like, wow, look what they're doing. Look what they're wearing. Right, like a music video, right? Come on.
Then the children of Cain looked up from below and saw the children of Seth standing in troops on the top of the mountain, and they called to them to come down to them.
Come on. Want a drink? Right? That's what happened. Come on, read.
That's it on that.
Okay. So read that real quick.
Ganun understood the power of music. He realized the longer you are exposed to it, the more it will have influence on you. Many feel they can separate the spirit from the song by just adding a higher to it, but it poses the question, does the Most High have allegiance with Baal? Most mainstream Christian songs have been written by sodomites who were taken over by the same familiar spirits of the children of Cain dealt with.
Right? And you see the sodomites. Right? In the Gospels. You see them, right? Praise the Lord. Brother, listen. What was that video? I ain't gay no more. Yes, you are, brother. Sit down. Calm down. Yes, you are, brother. You got much praying and fasting, Doc. Do some push-ups. I ain't gay no more. All right. But they use that, right? Let's keep reading.
Satan has always used music to infiltrate the church. So we must be careful in the utilization of music. Let's look at this gift at a biblical standpoint.
Right. So even in within the Christian and the Israelite community, because they'll take beats from the world and put, a higher by a Shami. And I get it. I'm not knocking that. But we have to be very careful because those beats A lot of these beats are satanic driven. These go to their masters, and they have a whole system. Then they have a science to even beats. And then I think it's in here, but back in the 70s, they were talking about that they want to bring music to in the equivalent of nursery rhymes. So that because they wanted to dumb down the community. So now when you look at more like hip hop and things of that nature, it's very simple nursery rhyme kind of ish lyrics. It's not, back in the days when I grew up, like KRS-One or Rakim, these brothers was lyricists. Now anybody can become a rapper. You understand? Because they wanted to lower the standards to bring anybody to because there were certain people that had the desire to become a singer. I love singing. I just can't, and I know that. But if society lowers the standard, I'll be like, maybe I do have a chance. He made it, right? So that's what happens. Keep reading.
What is the purpose of music amongst the congregation? Oh, I'm at the next slide, Elder.
You done with that?
Yeah, we finished. Sorry.
Oh, wait, go back.
Oh, let me see.
Wait. Did you finish Sodomites who were taking over the family?
Yeah, next slide.
Okay, next slide. Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. What is the purpose of music amongst the congregation?
Okay, let's read. Okay, Colossians 3:16. Let's read that.
Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Most High. Psalms chapter 100, verse 1. A psalm of praise, make a joyful noise unto the Most High, all ye lands. Serve the Most High with gladness, come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Most High, he is the power. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Most High is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations.
So the music, even within the lyrics, supposed to be about the Most High, not you. Because then it could become about, I'm an Israelite, tribe of Judah, Simeon, right? It's about me, right? I'm a Hebrew. What about praising his name? And you may hear the word Israelite at least 57 times in the song, but the Most High's name maybe twice. So you can get caught up with that. Because it's the same thing within the hip hop community. I'm bad, I'm this, I'm that. Look at my cars. Look at my women, right? So it's the same spirit coming over to the Israelite community as well. A lot of brothers that come from the urban experience. To make sure that you get caught up when you writing lyrics, it's supposed to be about the Most High and how great he is. Make sure that we are still on. I don't see the light on. No, the online. We may not be online, Deacon. Okay. All right. So let's keep reading.
Oh, that's it on that.
That's it. Okay.
Slide.
Because I don't see the light, maybe it got probably turned off. Okay. Let's keep reading. It's on? Okay. Outstanding. Okay. All right. Let's keep reading.
One of the primary functions of singing was not only to worship the Most High in his presence, but also teaching and admonishing one another. Most don't view singing as a form of teaching, but it is.
It is.
Many look to King David as their example of how to praise and overlook the fact he was king of Israel. King David did not only understand the importance of music, but he was also qualified to teach. At times, we focus on the talent before we consider the understanding. We have to always check ourselves and not follow the melody instead of the oracles. A key reason is Lucifer was created with that gift, so he is very skilled in melodic deception.
Right. So even in a way of you being a hip hop artist, and you in the body, you should just hold your thought towards the end. We all have head. Okay, just double. Okay, the water, brother. Okay, so even within the Israelite community or and things of that nature, you're teaching in within the hip hop community. You being a hip hop artist is another way of you teaching. But if you're not a qualified teacher and you bringing out scriptures, you could be bringing out wrong scriptures, wrong understanding. You understand? So even there's another form to kind of with the understanding, you got to also deal with wisdom. Okay, where we at? Are we on? Okay. All right. All right, so we have to do the whole. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All right. I think no, keep going. It's a lot of slides.
Go to Ezekiel. Let's say Ezekiel 28.
Almost there. These fancy things. Just okay. All right. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Okay. Here we go. The water brother. Okay. So let's go to what is that? Ezekiel 28 and 13.
Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of the Most High.
This is talking about the Most High speaking to Lucifer, or the spirit that was controlling, I think, the king of Tyre, right? Which is Satan. Read.
Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper and sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created.
Okay. Showing that Satan had the talent of instruments. Let's read that real quick.
Being that Satan was created with instruments and the gift of music, it is so easy to be captivated by it and led astray. Here is an example.
Okay. Let's go to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20, and verse 18 through 22. And 23, Salakim.
This is verse 18. But the children of Seth said to them from above, we don't know the way. Then Ganun, the son of Lamech, heard them say that they did not know the way, and he besought himself how he might bring them down. Then Satan appeared to him by night, saying,
now this is what Satan was working with Ganun and was giving him advice. Read.
Saying, there is no way for them to come down from the mountain on the which they dwell. But when they come tomorrow, say to them, come ye to the western side of the mountain. There you will find the way of a stream of water that comes down to the foot of the mountain between two hills. Come down that way to us. Then, when it was day, Ganun blew the horns and beat the drums below the mountain as he wont. The children of Seth heard it and came as they used to do. Then Ganun said to them from down below, go to the western side of the mountain. There you will find the way to come down. But when the children of Seth heard these words from him, they went back into the cave to Jared to tell him all they had heard. When Jared heard it, he was grieved, for he knew that they would transgress his counsel.
Exactly, right? 24.
After this, 100 men of the children of Seth gathered together and said among themselves, come, let us go down to the children of Cain.
There's always a group. So there's nothing new. So you get what I'm saying is this is not about unification of whole Israel. There's always going to be those people that are going to be doing wicked. We have to just discern the tares from the wheat. That's all we have to do. There's nothing. Don't take it personally. Don't prejudge anybody, but we understand we have to acknowledge these people exist and they've always been here. Right? Yeah, brother. Right. Right. And a lot of very nice people, they just probably don't know they're being caught up with the spirit because they're young. You understand? Read.
This is the middle of verse 24. Let us go down to the children of Cain and see what they do and enjoy ourselves with them. But when Jared heard this of the 100 men, his very soul was moved and his heart was grieved. He then arose with great fervor and stood in the midst of them and adjured them by the blood of Abel the just. Let not one of you go down from this holy and pure mountain, in which our fathers have ordered us to dwell. But when Jared saw that they did not receive his words, he said unto them, O my good and innocent holy children, know that when once you go down from this holy mountain, the Most High will not allow you to return again to it.
It's a wrap. Once you go down, it's not coming back. It's not turning back. Read.
He again adjured them, saying, I adjure by the death of our father Adam, and by the blood of Abel, of Seth, of Enos, of Canaan, of Mahalalel, to hearken to me, and not to go down from this holy mountain. For the moment you leave it, you will be left of life and of mercy, and you shall no longer be called children of the Most High, but be children of the devil.
So the term children of God is twofold, because I think when you keep reading, it tells you that the same things happened to the children of Seth as when it went down to deal with the children of man as the fallen angels. It was a similitude when you keep reading. So it's a twofold. You understand? And that's why the confusion when some people say, well, the children of God is talking about the children of Seth. Because the story happened twice, the same thing happened twice. But we know in Genesis 6, it's talking about the angels of God, because then giants, Nephilim, came after that, right? That's it on that? Okay, let's next slide.
Verse 28. But they would not hearken to his words. Enoch at that time was already grown up, and in his zeal for the Most High he arose and said, Hear me, O ye sons of Seth, small and great, when ye transgress the commandment of our fathers and go down from his holy mountain, ye shall not come up hither again forever.
In the same way, there's always going to be wicked men. There's always going to be a righteous man that's going to come up and set it right. That's why it says that it's always, our age they have not heard unless I send a preacher. You understand? So it is always a small remnant, and every generation is doing the right thing. Read.
But they rose up against Enoch and would not hearken to his words, but went down from the holy mountain. And when they looked at the daughters of Cain, at their beautiful figures, and at their hands and feet dyed with color, and tattooed and ornaments on their faces.
You see that?
The fire of sin was kindled in them. Then Satan made them look most beautiful before the sons of Seth.
Yo, she's hot. See that? You could talk to her. Right? Makeup, tattooed, and all that, beautiful, you know. So to show you that it's not the makeup that was wicked or evil, it's how you use it. That's why it's very important that women wear immodest apparel. You should not go in, with the cleavage and the makeup and hi, right? It's supposed to be same face, because that is a weapon, not knowledge of good and evil. And you got women all through their life working their body or to get certain situations in life, right? Using their beauty and things of that nature, right? You should use your respect, you being a woman that has self-worth as being the thing that people know you for, right? Let's read.
Verse 32. Then Satan made them look most beautiful before the sons of Seth.
Come on.
As he also made the sons of Seth appear of the fairest in the eyes of the daughters of Cain.
Come on.
So that the daughters of Cain lusted after the sons of Seth like ravenous beasts.
Come on.
And the sons of Seth after the daughters of Cain, until they committed abomination with them.
Come on.
But after they had thus fallen into this defilement, they returned by the way they had come and tried to ascend the holy mountain, but they could not, because the stones at the holy mountain were of fire flashing before them, by reason of which they could not go up again.
Because what? They have defiled themselves. So you got to understand. Go to hold that. Just go to 2 Corinthians, I think the 14th chapter. Be ye separate. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Is it 6 and 14? 2 Corinthians? Yeah.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Why? Because they have defiled themselves. The same way as Jared told the children, if you go down there, we can't receive you. You have defiled yourself. You're unclean. Now, when we in the world of defilement, we in the mix of defilement. That's why we need constantly grace, constantly prayer and fasting, because we in the mix of defilement. But keep reading.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
Come on.
And what communion hath light with darkness?
Come on.
And what concord hath Christ with Belial?
Come on.
Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
Start at verse 17.
Verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Most High.
We have to do it spiritually, and eventually we have to do it physically, because they will defile you. We have to create a system that we have to eventually be separate from the world, and that's when we have to going to start purifying ourselves, sanctifying ourselves, and that's when you start seeing the Most High said, you know what, I'm going to talk to you face to face as I spoke to you in the wilderness. Because now we're too defiled for the Most High to come to us. The prophets of the Most High, they were holy, righteous men. The Most High didn't deal with sinners. We have, 75% or 80%. They were 100% righteous. That's the only way the Most High could come and talk to you or send one of his angels. But how did you do that in a wicked society? Read that again.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Most High, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
And what?
And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
And then I will receive you. Then I will deal with you once you are clean. Once you don't touch the unclean thing, then I could deal with you, right? And when you go into, and we're going to do a PowerPoint, me and Nehemiah, we were talking about this, kind of showing the community rules of the Essenes. And not to say that we're going to model our way, the way they were doing it, but these people were, if you committed a sin, right, they had certain laws that they'll separate you from a year, like far away. And then you eat one meal a day, and then you have to meditate on the sin that you did and things of that nature. And after that, you could come back to the community. And you have to go to this washing ritual and things of that nature. So they were heavy on not defiling themselves and things of that nature. Now, they didn't have the true understanding of that until Christ came into the scene. But at least they were trying in things of that nature. So, but eventually we have to go back to that. Okay, let's read.
Verse 18. And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty.
Yeah, once you are separate, and you know, so a lot of it's not only talking about spiritually or metaphorically, it's also talking about literally, right? Because when we look at the pattern of evidence, that's what the Israelites always did, separate themselves from the nations. All right, so let's go back to, where were we?
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay.
So ultimately, the music and the sinful culture took the children of Seth away. So no matter how holy you are or how much you pray, if not careful, you can be caught in Satan's snare.
Okay. This is Ecclesiastes 7:5.
It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools.
You see that? Next slide.
May the grace of the Most High be with you all. Shalom.
Shalom. Okay, let's give the Most High a hand. Okay. So we have to be very careful in how, these different tools that Satan use. Okay. And it'll be a situation that even back in the days when I was in the old church and things of that nature, the old camp, we'd be hanging out in nightclubs, Israelite brothers, chilling. with our garments and everything, thinking we're doing righteousness. You know what I mean? Rapping just says, hey, shalom, sister, what's going on? Can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why when you go many Christian churches and things of that nature, many organizations, they got their own, hangout and things of that nature. They got their own thing. But also, let me also say this, because we're looking into this as well. In regards to feast days, in regards of us coming together, we should always do it by day. Because we are the children of light. We're the children of the day. So there's a certain spirit that comes in when you're going out at nighttime and hanging out in a club and all that, or even if we come together. You understand what I'm saying? Let's do something. Let's do let's do a little nightclub or something. Let's do a concert or something. And it's at night and it's dark in a room and all that in a nightclub. You gotta be careful about that. It should be out in the open. It should be during the daytime, because it's a spirit that comes with that. The lights are beaming. You don't see shadows at night. You can't hardly see who you're talking to. Spirits could use that as well. So we have to look at everything and things of that nature. It's not, it's the spirit of the law. You have to make sure that you're protecting yourself from these devices of Satan. So we could get into like, well, elder, what scripture is that? We're not allowed to do this. But you need to understand is that Satan works for 2-3 steps ahead of us. So we have to work 5 steps ahead of him, right? So with that, give the Most High a hand. Okay. So what we're going to have Deacon Aaron do his PowerPoint. And this is for brothers and sisters